Alright, here we have Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith. This is probably my second favorite out of all the Aerosmith albums. It has Sweet Emotion and Toys in the Attic, obviously. I really like Uncle Salty. That's probably my favorite track on the album. It's a very close second to Rocks. I think this album just really sort of shaped 70s rock as a whole. And here is Rocks, by far my favorite Aerosmith album, and probably one of my favorite albums in my collection. I think every song on here is great, especially Combination and Get the Let Out, two kind of more unknown ones, and two of my favorite Aerosmith songs. I think this album is super cool, and I got it for, I think, $3, and I don't think there's any playing issues with it. So that's cool. And now we move on to, Rockford's Pride of Joy, Cheap Trick. This album here is probably my favorite Cheap Trick album. I love that it's so different from, their power pop stuff that they did later on, with a rockier edge, of course. But this album has more of a punk feel to it. And it's got songs, one of the songs is about a serial killer. One of the songs is about one of the band's friends killing themselves. One of the songs is about a pedophile. Just these, what I would imagine would be taboo subjects for 1977. So, I like the back cover. It's got some drawing on it, but yeah, this is a great album. And here we have In Color. This is actually the first record that I ever got. I got it as some sort of a gift from my mom's best friend when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. And I didn't really know how to take care of vinyl back then, so it doesn't play all that well. But it was cool to have at the time, so there's the gatefold. And, of course I still have it. This is a good album. The production is kind of odd, but, it's got Big Eyes and Southern Girls and Downed. Just some really good tracks by them. Here's Heaven Tonight. This is actually probably tied for my first favorite Cheap Trick album, because I like the unknown stuff on this one too, like On the Radio and Stiff Competition. I don't know, there's something about this album that I really like. I don't really know if I can pinpoint it. My CD copy of this, when Rick was having his Rick's Picks exhibit in the museum in town, where he showed off all of his guitars, I brought the CD copy with me in just to hope that he would be there. And sure enough, as we were walking out the door, there he was. So, yeah, I was totally starstruck. He signed it for me. I'll make a video of my CD collection sometime, but I have that CD right here. See, he's got his signature on it. That was such a cool moment. I couldn't believe what was happening. Here we have At Budokan. Really good live album. I bought this off of my brother. He bought it and decided he didn't want it anymore. So I bought it off of him. There's the gatefold. And it comes with the booklet with the stuff in Japanese and a whole bunch of pictures. Really cool booklet, and quite a thick one too. So yeah, this is definitely a great album. I remember rocking out to this album when I was a little guy. So that's always a cool thing. Here's Dream Police. This obviously has some good songs on it too, like Need Your Love and High Roller's not on here. Way of the World, The House is Rockin'. This is, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought really badly. It's a good album. I guess we'll just leave it with that. Here's All Shook Up. I got this at the county fair one year. This was one of the first albums that I ever had. And, not my favorite Cheap Trick album. It's got a few good songs on here, but it's a little weird. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Here's One on One. This is the first album they did without Tom Peterson. This is a pretty good album. It's got She's Tight on it, which is one of my favorite Cheap Trick songs. I love the video for it. It also has If You Want My Love, which is a good song, but not my favorite. Here is Standing on the Edge. I don't know a whole lot about this album. I know it's got Tonight It's You on it. I basically got this one just to add to the Cheap Trick collection. It's one of their 80s ones without Tom Peterson, which I tend to like a little less, but I don't know. We'll see how it is. I believe this is the original shrink wrap it has on it. It'd definitely be cool if it was. And here is Lap of Luxury, which is actually one of my favorite Cheap Trick records. I actually like pretty much every song on here. I know that some people tend to not like it because it was, you know, kind of a different sound for Cheap Trick and maybe sort of held them to the standard of what this album was because The Flame was a #1 hit. But I think it's a really good album. Here we have Ted Nugent's first album. I like Ted's music from the 70s. His first 3 albums and Double Live Gonzo are pretty good. You know, politically, well, we have some differing views, but his music is pretty awesome. I think this is probably the best album out of his first 3. I do not have Free for All, but I'll hopefully be getting it at some point soon. Here's Cat Scratch Fever. Cat Scratch Fever was actually one of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar. It's got this cool gatefold. Yeah, this is a pretty good album. I don't have anything bad to say about it. And here is Double Live Gonzo. This is the last album he did with his original band with Derek St. Holmes, Rob Grange, and Cliff Davies. I miss that band. I think that was one of the reasons that Ted was so good back then is because he had that awesome band. This is a pretty decent album. It's not my favorite live album, but it's pretty good. I just wanted to get it sort of like the bookmark of that era. That's pretty much the last one I'm interested in for Ted Nugent. Here is some sort of Deep Purple Greatest Hits compilation. I bought this at a county fair. Yeah, I guess this is a double album with greatest hits from Mark 1 and Mark 2 Deep Purple. I really don't know a whole lot about this album. I just bought it because I knew it had Mark 1 and Mark 2 stuff. And at the time, I was trying to get more into Deep Purple. Here we have Come Taste the Band. I bought this one because it's the only one they did with Tommy Bolin on guitar. I was a little disappointed with this album. I think I had higher expectations for it because Bolin was playing guitar. It's a good album, but it's definitely not Mark II. Here we have Infinity by Journey. Again, bought at a county fair. This is one of the first records I ever got. This is a good album. I'm not the biggest Journey fan in the world, but it's got Wheel in the Sky and Anytime and Lights on it. I believe this is the first album they did with Steve Perry. And, yeah, the last 3, I think it was 3, with Steve Perry and Greg Rowley. I think those were their best. Solid albums. And finally, we have another album I got at a county fair, Stages by Triumph, which appears to be some sort of live album. It says it was recorded in 85. I don't believe I've ever listened to this. It's got a cool gatefold. This is the only Triumph record I have. Again, a band I'm not the hugest fan of, but I like Lay It on the Line and Fight the Good Fight. They got some good material. So that does it for the rock portion.